When did you get your first tattoo? Do you regret it now? 16 years old at some sketchy shop that didn't ID. My artist was high as fuck and stopped multiple times to smoke weed. I got my grandpa's name on my chest and had to wear shirts at all times around the house to hide it from my parents until I left for college 2 years later. No regrets. I was 30 when I started and continue to get them now. I regret my first tattoo only because of the artwork and artist. She didn't give me a chance to adjust her initial concept and gave me lots of attitude, so I wasn't happy with the outcome. It's not bad, just not what I wanted. Be sure to find an artist who is open to communication. It's going on your body, not theirs. Nah, I like my first tattoo. I have 4 and regret 1 because it didn't turn out great application and it's quite large. It is what it is though. Eventually it'll get lost as I get a bunch more, or maybe I'll remove it someday. When I was 18, spent 100 on the cheesy tattoo in a very visible place and at least 10x that getting it lasered off. I was 47 and no, I do not regret it in the least. I look at it quite frequently and it reminds me of where I was and where I'm now. The tattoo is a semicolon. I was freshly 18 and yes, I regret it and have since covered it. I got it when I was in my mid-20s. It's my name and the Distaffbubber's name with a couple of hearts. 31 years later, we're still together. No regrets. Have to misspell that in a tattoo thread. Not me, but 90 of the women I hook up with hate their tramp stamps, and I say at least 75 hate any tattoos on their butts, bellies or boobs, back shoulder for the win or lower leg. I was 16. Yes, I regretted it, so I got it covered up a few years ago. 14, fully regret it. Never did, and that's what I regret. I was relatively old compared to most 26-27. But I got it when my brother came back from New Zealand for a week after moving there. We got matching tattoos based on something we'd been drawing since childhood, and I don't regret that at all despite the image being somewhat cliche given other possible designs. I got a Vegasir a few years ago. Pretty happy with it. https://imgur.com YG8KJFM. Never, and I have no regrets about it. I had just gotten my first paycheck ever and wanted to remember the day I officially became an adult. It took me 20 years to decide on another one, and now I'm on a roll 5 and counting. Just this last year. I'm an older adult and no longer give a fuck what people think about it. Was around 22, on my shoulder, and 25 years later I forget it is there in general. Grew up in a business household with military relatives, so the permissible were always nothing above the collar or below the sleeves. The normal idea that as long as it was covered by work clothes it was not going to cause issues down the line. 18. I don't regret the decision to actually get the tattoo, or the tattoo design itself. I just regret not choosing a better tattoo artist. Ended up with scarring and a tattoo that, to this day, nearly 30 years later, still flakes and itches and hurts if I press on the skin. I was 1516 and got a basement tattoo. I've spent the last year doing laser tattoo removal because it's just awful looking. No tats, no regrets. I got mine when I was 12 in a secure children's unit. It was done by a 17-year-old and says menace,